Hello, comrades, and welcome back to another episode of Derail Valley Persistent Jobs. I am back in the DE2, our trusty DE2 number 86. So trusty that I didn't know what its number was. I'm going to go check the handbrakes on this train, and then we need to grab our job. If you guys remember where we left off last week, we have pretty much done everything we can here, and short of trying to drive this DE2 back to the steel mill with some loaded cars, which I just don't think is going to go over well, we're going to have to run these flat cars to the harbor. Flat cars to the harbor. Alright, let's go pick up that job. But, as I mentioned in the first episode, I would be checking on the comments and responding and this and that. Oh, I should say, of course, that the disclaimer is now in the description of all the episodes. Oh, shoot, right. This is a mess. This is the one that we need. Everything else here, there's one shunting job, which I don't want to do. And then, yeah, we have to just come back someday and move all of this iron ore to the steel mill. But this is our job. We need to haul empty cars. And we're going to the harbor. We're going all the way across the world. G1S to G2S. So it's going to be a long drive, getting from here to there. So we pretty much have our episode in the bag, as in terms of what we're going to need to be doing. Let's see. Let's get the front lights on and the back lights on, and the engine on. And the handbrake off. Let's see. Other brakes are off. Forward. We have pretty much full fuel and full oil and full sand. It's raining a little bit, but this shouldn't be much of a problem. We're probably going to run just the shortest way there is, which I know this isn't shortest, but it's probably the quickest. Let's go. I think we're all set. We don't really... There's nothing else for us to do. There's nothing else for us to do here, aside from the fact that it is slippery out. This is... How much weight is this train? 88 tons, which is not that much. But yeah, like I was saying, now that we're moving, the disclaimer is in the description. Any comments I will be covering. It's been a couple of weeks since the first bunch of recordings, and this is the first one that's not in that bunch. And we did get one comment, although it was just some praise, which I always appreciate, but isn't something I can really dig into. So I'll just say thank you, Mr. Crystal Skull, I think was his username. I too hope this is going to be good. So far, actually, I've been pretty happy with the way this has worked out, and I really just need to keep ahead of it. I need to keep ahead of my own schedule and my own free time and get this done, and also I need to keep updating the mod, which is something that I did, and part of the reason why we're going to the harbor. We don't really have any other jobs to do. We could go back to the steel mill with a cut of 3 cars or something, but I think this is going to be best because it'll let us see what the harbor looks like, and I'll lay out all the jobs there, and I'll take a screenshot, I guess, for the mod developer. This is going to be a pretty sedate run, too. It's just going to be just us hanging out, driving train. I mean, I could go on the straight and level, but I don't think we're going to have that much trouble with 88 tons. I know it's a little bit steep-ish, and it is a little wet, but hopefully it doesn't give us that much trouble. I am nervous about it, but I think it'll be okay. And if we had any brakes on, we would know by now. That I'm fairly certain of. I don't want to wheel slip. 1.6%. Can I go further? I mean, the amps is a reasonable measure of the resistance, right? What goes crazy when I think amps goes crazy when I wheel slip, that it just drops to nothing because the wheels are spinning so quickly, right? Yeah, I'm beginning to understand this between playing and watching people on YouTube. You know, I begin to comprehend the sort of, oh, whoops, I suppose I can do this. It doesn't make a difference, though. I don't know what my setting is. I begin to comprehend what all the dials really mean, not just in terms of how they affect my driving here, but what they really mean. I'd love to see someone who has sort of mange run 8 sit down and see how this goes. You know, someone who hasn't really played much Derail Valley before. It is a very, very good simulation. I definitely, you know, I adore this game. It deserves the adoration. How long do we have to do this job, anyway? 114 minutes. Somehow I don't think it'll take us that long, but we are going quite possibly the longest we can go over the entire map. A logistic haul from Iron Mine West to Harbor is probably the longest and maybe second most difficult, being behind, or the, well, sort of the cross product of length and difficulty, I guess. Being behind a trip from Harbor to Iron Mine with a bunch of excavators or something. And I think our speed limit here is like, yeah, it was 80, now it's going to be even higher. What is the easiest way to get through Machine Factory? Straight through the D yard, I guess. Which, that is the passenger yard. So, we need to go right and then left. We seem to be getting there. I don't want to be going too quick for this because I'm going to have to get on the switches. And then nothing else should be misaligned for us. Everything else should be good. Let's see. Right, and then left, and then... let's see. D. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're going to be going straight through anyway. It is a little bit bouncy. I mean, nothing is making angry sounds at us, so I think we're going to be okay, but... 60 kph is probably about the most I want to do rolling through a yard here. And then once we get out, we're going to be going downhill, so... Oh, hey, there's the water column for steamers on this track, so that's how you know this is the right one to go barreling through the yard. Although... don't like that at all. What's in there? I see a couple of D6s. I didn't really see anything else. I think I saw a steam engine, a big one. A big choo-choo. But, alright, we're going to be going mostly downhill now. And I think I'll just let it ride until we get to City Southwest, because it's mostly straight, and I don't need to stress the engine out. The less we sort of force this, the less we'll have to pay in copay, etc. This is why I wish I had the caboose with me. I'd go check the career machine right now. Oh well, I'll get a caboose at some point. Let's put on a little bit of a set. Let's not turn into a runaway train, especially considering that. Yeah, let's just modulate the brake a little bit. Go back to a full release. 70 coming up. In a 1.6% downgrade. So we'll at least shoot for that, then we'll have to figure out how to hold it at 70. Shouldn't be that hard. I was reading about brake systems yesterday and today, just incidental to playing Derail Valley. One of the things I learned about is some older brake systems where you can't do a partial release, you have to release all the way. It's something I was completely unaware of. But you can't feather the brakes, otherwise you deplete your reservoirs, and then you get, well, then your brakes don't release properly. So, yeah. Thankfully, they don't simulate that. Thankfully, all the freight cars here are modern, and have modern braking systems where I can do partial releases. Which is interesting. It's sort of... I like how this game, you know, it doesn't pull punches about being in a certain place in a certain era. You know, this sort of transition era, you know, Yugoslav-esque location. Not necessarily in terms of outside scenery, although I don't really know how accurate that might be. But in terms of these locomotives and, you know, the thing that really cinched it for me was the S060 being the, you know, the copy of the S100. And when that released, you know, almost back to back with them pulling those 060s out of the aquarium in Canada, I was like, you know, it was the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme, just like, hey, I've seen this one. You know, I know that's a different meme, but, you know, it's like, oh, I recognize those locomotives. Alright. We have permission to run up to 100 kph. We have just come together below, sort of where my cursor is, actually. And now we just have to run up the river and have to be ready for that drop to 30 for when we take that curve at City Southwest, which, yeah, it's giving us this warning of, hey, you're gonna drop, but at least I'm not going downhill anymore. This is nice and flat. We are going to get there in record time at this rate. I was tempted to take one of the other routes, but they're all just so much slower. You know? This run through the steel mill and then over and then down, despite being a little bit longer than the alternatives, lets you run at 50, 60, 70 kph for a lot of it, where the alternatives are, you're looking at sometimes 30, 40, maybe even 20 in spots. I've done that run before with a heavy train, because it is a slightly lower grade route. Let's just knock that all the way off. Have we done anything at City Southwest? Oh yeah, we did last time, didn't we? No, I can't recall. Yeah, we did. Didn't we? I'm getting this save confused with my other persistent job save, and also stuff that I've done just independently. Oh, you know what I don't have? And I'll grab this right now. I don't have my Derail Valley notes document open, which I think I stuck that on my desktop somewhere, which is not something I usually do. There it is, DV Persistent Jobs Notes. It's in a folder on my desktop. It's not just out there on my desktop. Alright, so I don't have any notes about City Southwest, which tells me we didn't do anything with City Southwest. It's been a while. It's been a while. Alright. Haul through here. I know this drops to 30 again, doesn't it? So I can't get up to that much speed. At least it's... Has it stopped raining? It looks bright and sunny out, so I'm going to assume it is not raining. I'm not going to worry about the rain. It's 80. I think the really tight one is the second one, yeah, because there's that little S curve before the Y there. just want to keep it moving. I think we're doing good. I think this is going to be a nice, sedate run through the countryside, and for the people that have been watching along, expecting chaos, and it is still raining. It's a sun shower. Expecting chaos and destruction, that is not what we're getting at today. This should be a perfectly normal run, even with the frizz. I love watching the shadow move like that. I've never really been able to crank up my graphics in a game like this without having massive problems. So the fact that I can do it in Derail Valley, I mean, it's a testament to the new parts that have gone into my computer, but, you know, it lets me appreciate this game in a way that I really haven't been able to appreciate games before. I've never been a stickler for graphics and things. This should be slow enough. Especially since, you know, if you ask me, I'd probably say my favorite game is Minecraft, and has been for a long time. And I don't really, you know, I don't put shaders on it partly out of necessity, because I can't. But I just have never even bothered. I even stuck with the old chunky lighting for a long time because I liked it better. I've sort of gotten over that and moved on, but my point is the graphical fidelity of a game is never much of a selling point for me. I mean, honestly, one of my favorite games right now is Noida, which is all pixely, etc. It's about the gameplay, you know? It's got a great personality. Alright, we are out of that 30. And I know we can go at least 50 all the way to the other side of the farm. That's an 8, but it will drop to, at the highest, 60. So I'll get up to 50, 55, and then we'll start... Okay, that's unnecessary, if you guys heard that one. We'll get up to 50, 55, and then we will sort of back out of the throttle a little bit. A couple weeks ago when I came through here, I would have mentioned that, or I may have mentioned that I served this in my testing save. And because this is a place where nothing goes in and everything comes out, it was just chock full. And it still is, because that copy of the persistent jobs mod is, well, it was all about filling the tracks up with shunting work and stuff like that. Which led to very, very congested yards, like you saw in the steel mill, and here. Except for the input tracks, of which this place has none, because it only takes in cars from logistical hauls. And thankfully, they've tried to smooth out some of that, and the guy who's been doing the work has been doing a lot of good work and trying to get the car spawning to sort of make sense before we go and start changing some other things in the mod. Trying to get rid of errors and trying to keep cars from despawning if at all possible. Trying to fix a long-standing issue with persistent jobs where it would break up jobs but not combine them because it wasn't really capable of doing that. So you'd just get smaller and smaller consists. Which is neat because it meant you had to assemble your own, like, way freight. You know, you had to assemble your own mixed freight, but still, it was a little bit obtuse. Or it ended up being. And, you know, I sort of threw out the idea of having it reset once at nighttime, where it would look for all the jobless cars and then create jobs based on that. And that's been a bit of a headache for the developer lately. So I don't apologize for making the suggestion, but I'm sorry that he is suffering. Did I do work here? No, not yet. Anyway. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I got this new version of the mod as of a couple days ago, as of this recording. As of you guys seeing this, it'll be about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. But I got this version of the mod, which tries to fix that by limiting the number of jobs that can spawn in a given yard track, and also changing the sort of the nature of job spawns. I think that was mostly it, though, because we sort of agreed that we were worried about it not making large enough consists, but realized that limiting the number of jobs per track wasn't actually like forcing it to make larger consists. It was just giving it, it was the option was still there. But if I remember correctly, and I'm not a coder, so excuse me if I am confused about this, the game sort of figures out a job to put in a spot. Oh, there it is. It's 3.3%. No wonder why we've struggled on this hill so much. The game sort of figures out a job and then tries to put it in a spot or some such thing like that. As in, if you have, like, the game doesn't try to maximize the amount of yard track used. And there wasn't really anything we were going to do to sort of enforce that. And in fact, it was sort of better if it wasn't, because you still have room to maneuver. All right, there's the toughest hill that we're going to do on this run. That's for damn sure. I think I can give it a little more beans. We're seeing that go up. Not super happy about it. I don't want to smoke my traction motors. I've always wondered if there's one or two in this thing. But we should be getting out of it pretty soon, and I'll be able to notch back a little bit. I think it does level out up here. So we are heading towards, so we've got to take a left and then a left, which is something I've gotten confused about before when I left my map behind once. So it's going down. Let's give it a little more beans. Now that we've gone faster and we get more airflow through the radiator, it's not going to be as big of a deal that we're juicing the engine a little more. Yeah, see how that's holding more or less steady compared to how it was doing before. We don't have the normal position of the switches on the large map, but I think I'm going to have to throw at least one of them, if not both of them. Yep, this one. So we definitely have to throw that, because otherwise we'd be going towards the forest south, which I'm not sure I've ever run down that stretch of railroad, on purpose anyway. And then we have to take another left, otherwise we're going for the long and snaky coast route. Let's keep it from going over the speed limit, shall we? And there's the other one, and it's also pointed the wrong way. There we go. Okay. Oh, shoot. Alright. Stop that. Let's just... Oh, never mind. 70. We can take the left at 70. Train doesn't seem to like it, but we can definitely do it. Alright, let's see. Let's get a move on then. 10. I like seeing 10. I don't actually know what our speed limit is on this stretch, probably the 70, unless we passed another sign. But there goes that sign. We're in golden hour here. I don't really think we're going to be able to make it to the harbor before sundown, but that would be nice to not have to put this thing away in the dark. G2S, huh? Okay. Okay. G2, okay, so there's the G yard, and hopefully the siding is relatively empty. Yeah, full beans. I'm gonna step on the gas. Alright, 8. Actually, we can't go any faster than this, can we? It is governed. So, what I said about not spending too much money on fuel and junk, let's just coast then. I think this is pretty flat all the way to basically the other side of that Y that we're heading at. Yeah, and there's the 70. So, I really appreciate the way that the DE2 handles now, and I suppose the DE6 by extension, which is that instead of... It sort of used to feel like the throttle notches corresponded to a certain speed that you wanted to go, and now they very clearly are not that. They're just an amount of power that you're giving it. So, I gave it full throttle when we were already at 70 kph, and it didn't go any faster because it just doesn't do that. This seems tight. I don't know why it's so angry at us when the sign clearly said 7. Alright, so we're heading up to this other Y here. I don't know if we're going to have to throw the switch or not. Once we have sort of traveled these routes, when we're traveling them again, we won't have to worry about it, because the switches will already be thrown. But this is the first time we're coming down this way in this save, so... I'm going to just air it out just a little bit, because we are slowing down. Where is the switch lever? Oh, there it is. I thought I saw it. Nope, I didn't. There we go. Alright, 60, but I know we're going to have to slow down after that. There are stretches along here that I think go down to 40. And it's a downhill as well. So I will put on the smallest of sets. The one little turn of my mouse wheel. It sounds kind of mean in this tunnel. Oh, there it is. Come on, spicy. It's not really wet out anymore, so let's just do that. It is still drizzling. It has been drizzling since we left the iron mine. We've crossed the entire map, and this little rain cloud has just followed us. Damn, what a metaphor. Alright. Easing it around this corner. Once again, I don't know what they mean exactly when they say that they're going to straighten out some of the map for the next major update, but boy do I look forward to it. I want to step on the gas. Did we pass another speed sign? Oh, we did, and I wasn't paying attention to what it was. Oh, there's a 6 coming up. My brakes are all off. I can pick up a little bit of speed. Yeah, there are some little wiggles through here, but there's a non-zero chance that we do get to the harbor in some kind of daylight, maybe twilight. I'm not exactly about to race the sun, although that's a fun game. From a few years back. And by a few, I mean probably like 6 or 7 now. God, it's been a long time. I used to play that in college. I used to tutor kids, and when they would finish all of their work, I would let them play Race the Sun as a treat. I mean, I used to tutor kids of all ages. That wasn't as much of a treat for the high school age ones, but like the 10-year-olds really seem to enjoy a little bit of game time. With the high school kids, it would just be like Gossip City. I cannot answer that. I just got a call from Maine. I hope it isn't something important. I will check my voicemail after this delivery. Also, I cannot see how long we've been going for. Okay, 30 minutes, so we're like right on time. Oh, shoot. Don't text and drive. Train. Or car. But in this case, train. You know, I'm also realizing that I'm not sure I've updated my voicemail message in many, many years. Because I never check my damn voicemails. I never use that. That's maybe the one... Oh, there is a voicemail I have just received. So, I definitely think that could have been something important. That may have been the person from the main... from the Down East Scenic, so I'll definitely have to wrap this episode up in short order and call them back. Or it was just a scammer, it didn't come up as scam risk, which is a possibility. Let's see, we have crossed the river, we're on the final Wiggles, and then we have that Y right over there, and then we're going down into the harbor. And we'll just drop this off. It'll be a nice short episode. We'll just drop this off, and then I will organize the jobs. Yep, that's a 4. I knew it was going to come back down to it. Okay. We got underneath it. That's fine. We're good. We're going to have to sort of nurse it down the hill on a set because it gets pretty steep over here, and I'm not going to do it with the independent brake because it's raining. It is foggy here at the harbor. 2.3%. I don't love to see it. If anything, I'm just very hopeful that siding track is empty. I just said nurse it down the hill on a set, and then I released the brakes, just instinctively. Let's see, we're at about a bar and change. We're not losing or gaining speed particularly quickly. Okay, we are losing speed, so I'll release the brakes another couple of notches. Alright. Oh boy. This is a familiar area. This is the place where everyone gets stuck with the train. Aside, it's this hill and the Machine Factory hill. I swear, it's gotta be. Because you're a noob, you see a job from steel mill to Machine Factory, you go, oh, I'll take that, then you get stuck. Or you're a noob and you see an easy job to the harbor, and then you go to the harbor, and then to get out, there is only pain and suffering. It's a story I have heard many a time from many a Derail Valley player. And it's a story I have been a part of and witnessed. We're just gonna coast in, I guess. Yep. Easy peasy. What a simple job, and we have arrived at the harbor. Our military base. Let's see what's in the roundhouse. There is a DM3, a 262, a DE2, a DE6. And I think that's it. Still no 060s. They don't like to spawn for me, is something that I've found out. And we aren't here in the daylight, although the cloud cover is definitely not helping things either. So, which of the G-yard tracks, G6S is going to be the one almost on the far right? Is that's to the D yard? Oh wait, no, this goes to the D and G yards. A lot of pages on this incredibly glitchy booklet. Okay, so we're lined the right way, which is nice. Look at us just coasting in here. You know what? I'm a little chilly. Let's turn that off. Never mind, I'm a little warm. Turn it back on. This is the biggest problem with this, is that you don't have enough warning when you're pulling in here. It looks like our track is a little full, so we'll have to drive through and then back into it. Oop, wrong thing. Actually, is that even going to fit? No, there's no way. There's no way it's going to fit, so we're going to have to shove those out and then put them somewhere else. Oh, G2S. How did I get 6? I looked at the page. It's over there. That's G6. That's G2. Where did I get 6 from? Alright, well, we've made one boner this video. And that track looks pretty clear, so we could have just gone right on through, but oh well. Throw that. Let's just coast. Let's just coast. One, two, three, 4, 5, 8 cars in this train, huh? Let's bring it to a stop. Oh no, there is something in that track, so we would have had to do this anyway. Alright, well, whatever. I guess I'm not upset either way. It's just the way things go. And honestly, it looks like we're going to be right on time in terms of wrapping this episode up. Let's go for a sprint. Let's go for a little jog. I don't know why it makes you jump up and down like that when you're running on the flat cars. It's only the flat cars, as far as I've noticed, but I guess that's the thing I've been running on the most. Come on, you. I'm gonna need to give it a little more beans to get in here, but at least I think it's going to fit, or at least it could. Come on. And on the bright side, it definitely has not taken us 2 hours. You'd love to see that. Gonna get that sweet, sweet bonus. Which, this job wasn't worth a ton anyway, if I recall. Yeah, 13 grand. I mean, that's nice, but it's not mind-blowing by any stretch. Oh, we're gonna thump it. Oh, it's lightning now. Oh, we're gonna thump it. I think that was the thump. Let's just keep shoving. I probably should have run back and applied all of the handbrakes on those last cars. But, oh well, there we are. I can hear the handbrake squealing. And I hear thunder. Alright. I am going to shut down this locomotive. Although I'll leave everything else on, because we're going to need to come back to it and service it, things like that. And maybe do something with this cut of cars, but we'll find out. That is some freaky sounding lightning. Can I get struck? I know I won't die, but can I get struck by lightning? That isn't a concern, that is an ask. Please, Alt Future. Let me die in a boiler explosion. You know, this is what sprinting should be like in games, you know? It should actually tax you, instead of the, okay, sprint, 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 sprint. Alright, sprint bar is run out, we have to walk. Okay, sprint, 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 sprint. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not how sprinting works in real life. Anyway. Would you look at that, 39 minutes. And we'll take our spoils, which is about 20 grand, and now we have to sort out everything here. Which looks like quite a bit of stuff, including a good chunk of shunting. I don't think I'll be able to fit it all on this table. I don't even know how I'm going to fit this all on the table. I just want to show this to the mod developer and be like, hey, this is what spawned in at Harbor first time I'm here on this save. But it might be a little bit fudged by the fact that I've played on this save before. I didn't want to... Well, that's a long stretch of cars. I like that, like, mixed freight, though. I guess we'll fit them all here. Oh, there's one for the sawmill. You don't see that every day. Some acetylene or whatever that was for the steel. Oh, sorry, cryo-oxygen, not acetylene. Acetylene is in containers. Okay. I don't actually remember what my... Is this my screenshot button? Oh, it's also my bring up all of the fun stuff button. Well, I guess we're living with that until the end of the video. And we are at 42 minutes, so the only thing we can do is figure out... You know what, I can't. That's very distracting. Get that out of here. Now we have 2 screenshots. We've taken 2 screenshots. Let's move out of the way everything that we cannot do. So, all the hazmat stuff, get that out of here. Especially hazmat 2. I mean, we're not going to be able to do that anytime soon. Put that in a pile over on the secretary's desk. These are both hazmat 2. I wish I could pick up more than one thing at a time. I didn't organize them at all, so I'm just pulling them out. It's like a deal or no deal, just getting rid of stuff. So we have a shunt. We have this. I mean, we should have a shunt that's... Let's see. That's not it. That's not it, I don't think. That's not it. This is not it. So I don't actually know what our job became. Unless it became one of these. Oh no, it would have been 88 tons. So... Yeah. I guess it didn't become anything. Let me... No? Okay. Yeah, no, I want to go back and look over at those cars now. But point is, we could do a bunch of these. We're going to have to figure it out next time because it's going to mess up the table. So I'll just walk over and look at those cars and see if they belong to any job, which is something that I just learned you can do the other day. Before I was just guessing based on, you know, color and number of cars. Unless they got included in that 2 pickup job, but I don't think they would have. Are these are part of HBSL 63. If we go down here past... I don't know how many cars were. Yeah, So these don't have a job associated with them now. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is unusual for this mod. 7. Yep. 8. But I guess it couldn't find a place to put a new job, and I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Sometimes that's just the way it works. Thanks for watching this episode, and I will see you next week. This is the Admiral. Oops, I need to alt-tab to do this. This is the Admiral, signing off.